Shalom and welcome to the Mitzvah Torah. This year is entitled Har Habayit number 51, location of the Azara, number 8. Within the Har Habayit series, we've had 7 shiurim regarding the location. How can one identify the place of the Mikdah, the Azara, and therefore be able to know where on Har Habayit one would be able to go up? Discuss the south, west, east, north, different parts, and the measurements based on the Mishnayot and Midot in the second parak and other places as well, the Rambam. But one may say, okay, there's a lot of interesting ideas here which show that according to Mishnayos and Midos and the measurements, it would seem quite clear that the Mikdash is in the northwestern area, but the bottom line is not everyone agrees. There are those that say it might be in different places, it may be a little bit lower, closer to this, more south than where the Dome of the Rock would consider it. If we say that the Dome of the Rock is truly the rock of the Aron, where the Aron was placed. So if it's much lower, some may even say it's by the Mugrabi Gate area where people walk in. So we're playing with fire. Safaik Habayit. And there's just nothing to talk about. So how do we deal with such a question where someone says we're talking about a biblical doubt? One takes a look at the book that was put out by Tzomeh. It's called, Rav Rosen is the editor. It's called Kumu B'Naaleh. On page 74, it brings different opinions where, even the Mugrabi Gate, you can't go. Maybe only the northeastern area you could go. But the path that many go on is through the Mugrabi Gate. So how do you deal with the Safaik Habayit? A questionable doubt on a biblical topic, not any biblical topic, but a biblical topic that is kares. That's very, very serious. So how does one answer it? So those who've done their research and totally convinced, so they can say, I'm not in Safaik, I have no doubt. But those people who are not experts, myself, I don't consider myself an expert on the area in any way. So what do you do when you have a Safaik D'Oraita, biblical doubt? So if one has a posek and his posek paskins for him, so once again, he's not in doubt. But once again, if you don't have that, what do you do? So the answer is over here, this is not the normal rule of Safaik D'Oraita l'chumra. That when you have a biblical doubt, you go l'chumra. What, you're stringent. Why not? Because if one looks over the last 1,000 years and beyond, there's a Masorah of Jews going up and identifying the place of the Mikdash. Whether it's Paris, whether it's the Rishonim, some say the Rambam actually himself went up, student of the Ramban, the Radvaz, saying, all these people saying that the Dome of the Rock is the Holy of Holies area. And then once you know that, you could work around it very easily. And you could be stringent according to all the opinions and go far south from there, far north, far west, far east. And you're out of any danger. Then after the Radvaz, you have the Bach, the Beke Yosef, the Chidah. Then in the early 1800s, Chassam Sofer, Rabbi Akiva, Tzihar Kalisher, the Kaf HaChaim, the Chafetz Chaim, his work on Kudshim, the Divrei Yatziv in our generation a few years ago, great Klausenberger Rebbe. The list goes on and on and on. So yes, are there some Gedolim that say, I've researched the area and I don't know where it is? Yes. Go to Rav Sternbach, he researched it, he's not convinced where it is. So fine, there are some Yechidim, there are some poskim who've researched it. Now, someone who just signs a list with 100 other rabbis and say, we don't know where it is. If they didn't do any research, then that's not part of the list. They're just piggybacking off others who might be piggybacking off others. I'm talking about people who've gone through the sugya, who've written shuvas on the topic, analyzed the topic, and they've come to the conclusion, I don't know after all my hours and weeks and months of research, then okay. So then we have a real machlokes, but it's not a machlokes where you have three shitas. You have a Masorah, and you have rove majority of poskim. And the Shulchan Aruch says in Hoshen Mishpat, Siman Chav Hey, then you have rove majority opinion is one way, especially with a clear Masorah for 2,000 years. You have a majority one way and a minority opinion another way. Even on the biblical area, we go by rove. Whether why the majority opinion is lenient or strict, it doesn't matter. The rove takes priority. When do we say Safaik d'oraita l'chomer, that when in doubt on a biblical area is stringent? When you have two equal sides. But once you have rove, majority, then that takes over everything. And that, to me, is the case over here. But you have some majority of poskim today say not to go up. Yes, they say not to go up, but that's not because they don't know the place. That's because they're afraid that you're not going to tovel properly. You can accidentally go to the wrong area. If you go up properly, someone else is going to go up improperly. So those are all different gezeros and chashashot and concerns, which every posuk is allowed to have as concerns. But the focus here that I'm focusing on is the specific question of identifying the place. And in this area, the clear majority over the centuries has been that we do know the place and you can avoid it properly. And you can be machmir and stringent to avoid it according to all the different opinions. To the Rav Goren, to the one who puts a little bit more south, to the one that puts a little bit more north. And you can have a maslula path that includes almost everyone. Well, almost everyone will be comfortable. And those few minor opinions would say, no, you can't be anywhere. That's a minor opinion, and that's against the majority. And we have a right to follow the majority opinion. All right, an obligation. That's how the rules of Psak work. Shalom.